Well, good afternoon, Dan. Yes, we are still at Bondo. This time we are at Kangoka Jaramogi. That is the residence of the first Vice President of the Republic of Kenya, the late Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. And this is also the family home of Odingas. It is where the former Vice President, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, was buried. It's also where, right now, we can ascertain Raila Odinga will be buried, because we have already seen the exact spot where Raila Odinga will be buried. And what happened, even before I tell you the spot and where it is located in the compound, and the pictures that you're seeing on your screen right now, those are pictures of Oburu Oginga, the elder brother of Raila Odinga, with the clergy and some of the family members and friends who came in to identify the spot. That particular picture on our screen right now is next to the mausoleum of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. That is right next to where Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was buried, and that is where Raila Odinga will be buried. Oburu Oginga made his way here, identified that particular spot, and it was prayed for by the clergy. Of course, you can see them or reading a Bible verse on the pictures on your screen before they dug the first sound, or actually marked that particular spot, and even prayed for that particular spot. But before getting there, Oburu and the family members who've accompanied him had gone to where all the other graves are. Remember, there is, aside from mausoleum, because Jaramogi Oginga Odinga has been buried right at the middle of this compound at Kangoka Jaramogi, in an area called Nyamira in Bondo. At the furthest end, at one corner, is where the other graves are, the graveyards of all the other people from this family who have passed on, including the grave of Raila's mother, Mary Ajuma Odinga, who died in 1984 and was buried when Raila Odinga was detained without trial at that particular time. Now, according to what we are getting, I personally heard from friends and families who say it was Raila's wish not only to be buried here at the compound where his entire family who are deceased have been buried, but they also went to look at that spot next to his mother's grave. That is where Oburu went to first. And what we are understanding, it is really decided to then move that spot to the mausoleum, next to the mausoleum of where Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was buried. So, whereas many expected that the spot would be right next to where the other graves are, the grave of Mama Mary Ajuma Odinga, the grave of Fidel Castro Odinga, the son to Raila Odinga, and other family members of the larger Oginga Odinga family, they went there, identified the spot, or tried to looked at that particular space, and they moved. They did not give us a reason as to why they moved. Speculation was that they found the space not enough, as perhaps there will be a need to put up a mausoleum for Raila Odinga later, and that is why they changed. But according to what Oburu Oginga, the family members who are here, because Dan, remember, Raila Odinga's mother, youngest mother, this is Jaramogi Oginga Odinga's youngest wife, is still around this compound. And when Oburu came here from Opoda Farm, he went into their mother's house and again conveyed the message. What you saw, he conveyed that Opoda Farm is exactly at this time inside the house of their youngest mother. Something that and his wish was that he be buried here where land is. So according to them, they have honored the wish of Raila Odinga. The spot for the burial is now well known. We have identified it. It is next to the mausoleum of Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, and that is where this particular burial, the burial of Raila Amolo Odinga, will happen. From tomorrow, because we have already seen that particular spot identified, from tomorrow now, or later today, we are going to see neighbors and friends start digging the grave. But I will be confirming when exactly that will start, because as we speak, it hasn't started. Aside from that marking that was done using a djembe, we will be confirming when this will start. It will start most likely tomorrow morning, as the final resting place for Raila Odinga is prepared. Oburu Oginga also confirmed what he had reported earlier, Dan, that aside from the public viewing of the body that is currently happening in Kasarani, which was to happen at Parliament and whose venue was changed, even in Kisumu on Saturday, when the body will be brought to Kisumu, as opposed to what the committee had communicated earlier, that the body will be viewed from Moi Stadium in Kisumu. This time, Oburu Oginga has indeed confirmed that the public viewing will happen at the Mamboleo grounds in Kisumu before the body makes its way to Opoda Farm, where it will be held overnight at that particular residence of Raila Odinga on Saturday before burial on Sunday. Right before the burial, the service will be held at the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology, not too far from Kangoka Jaramogi. So what we are seeing is that all the members of the public will be directed to the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology for the service, the funeral service. So there won't be much of activities at the home, especially on the burial day on Sunday, because the person left that home early in the morning from Opoda Farm to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga for the memorial service, for the funeral service rather. Then they will make their way to Kangoka Jaramogi, which is less than 5 kilometers from the Oginga Odinga University of Science and Technology here in Bondo. Dan.